if you follow enough consumers, targeting enough businesses, pretty soon you get pretty smart at it because you're following that. And then it's figuring out what messaging works best in front of all of that. So I think that search is not going to go away. What I do think will happen is we're going to see less of keywords and ad copy, and that will all be created based on the generative AI that we see and all the data points that we have.
Welcome everyone, my name is Vishal Teckchandani and I'm a senior content editor here at Vendasta, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by Sandy Lohr, the CEO of Matchcraft, which became part of the Vendasta family last year. Sandy and I are going to talk about trends in the world of digital advertising, and I couldn't think of someone better to have here because Sandy has practically dedicated her career to this space. So Sandy, welcome. You're a wealth of experience and I'm looking forward to you sharing in this interview.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invite. It's always fun to get together.
No worries, absolutely, and welcome to Canada, of course. So Sandy, the world of digital advertising, like technology, changing all the time. What trends in particular are exciting you the most or that you're watching the most right now?
Well, thanks for the question. Of course, you know that I'm going to start with AI because what else do we talk about? But no, I think artificial intelligence is really changing the landscape for digital ads, and we're excited to be on the forefront there. So that's something we can talk about. I think automation's another good one in terms of things that are changing, and you no longer have to determine all the things because AI will determine that for you, but automating all of that. And I think the third one is just multi-channel. There's so many choices today, and having technology help figure out those choices and how to target campaigns, make them more effective. I think that's a big topic of discussion, and those would be the top trends I can think of top ahead for digital.
Okay, 3 big trends there: AI, automation, multi-channel. Help us understand the key insights for each that marketers need to know about.
Sure. So AI is something that I think there's so many aspects of it. And what we try and do is look at it from the standpoint of marketing. How can I own my data, which is proprietary to me, and be able to use AI, especially generative AI, and be able to use that to help with all the data points that are yours. And also in the areas that we see AI being able to help us is scale and efficiency with workflows and just different product features, et cetera. So I think those would be the areas that you can own. I think there's areas in AI, and this isn't my invention or anything. We spoke about this at an industry conference in Europe, actually, earlier this year. But the areas that we're not going to try and do from our perspective, from Vendasta and Matchcraft, is we aren't going to be inventing AI. We're going to take AI that's already out there and be able to use other people's AI and do the applications of that to things that we can own and be proprietary with. I think with automations, it's using AI, but it's helping so that all the things that you're doing with trying to create campaigns can be automated. And there's platforms that are doing that for you. And so things like selecting keywords in the search industry or in Facebook, creating the ads and knowing which ones are working best and which ad copy to use based on the results and optimizing, that's all things that can be automated. And we've got lots of years of doing that. And so AI isn't something that's new. It's something that the applications of what it means today, and especially with large language models, which of course is really impacting marketers, that's very new. On the multi-channel front, that's something, so you've got all these choices. And so as a marketer, how do you know what's working between Google and Microsoft and Yelp or Facebook and Instagram? And so you need to have these channels figured out for you. So platforms can do that and make campaign optimization, campaign setup efficient so that it's not such toil in being able to set all of those up. And that extends to other areas too, not just multi-channel, but you can look at what we multi-tech. And so the tech stack that you would need as a marketer, that all can be simplified so that a single platform can handle all of those. And of course, that's the industry we're in. So it sounds like a plug because it is, but that's what we know.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned some of those big tech company names because it's a good segue into social media.
Sure.
Again, digital advertising like technology, changing all the time. And within that, social media, we've got a new entrant in the market, Mark Zuckerberg's reaction to Twitter, Threads. And if you think about from a digital advertising perspective, these social platforms hoard enormous amounts of ad revenue. So love to know, what's your reaction to this new platform, and what does it mean for marketers, agency owners, digital companies that put advertising dollars on these platforms?
Yeah. Well, I think it depends on the products or who you're representing as a company, what logos you're looking at from a marketer. To me, that's still a wait and see. It's, for anyone that doesn't know, it's very text-based, and it's a Twitter replacement, and it's trying to give Twitter a run for its money. I don't think it's there yet in any volume that would help from a marketing standpoint today, but certainly that means that the dollars that would go a lot further, because it's a lower investment, the rates are lower because there's not enough adoption yet. But so you have to kind of weigh that and see when it's going to develop. I would also say from what I've seen and utilized, that it wouldn't be brand safe. So if that's something that's of concern to your marketer client, then you'd want to be careful there. But it's always fun to watch, right? There's certainly ones that have taken off, and I think that's one that it certainly has a lot of power and financing and investment behind it, and there's a competitive will there to want to win. So I don't see it going away anytime soon, but we'll see if it takes off from a consumer standpoint.
Okay, not going anywhere. Not going anywhere soon, which makes sense. In the broader landscape of social media, though, are there any trends that are sticking out to you? You got to be on Instagram, or you got to be on Facebook. How do marketers weigh this?
Yes. Well, I think as we look at the impact of data and privacy and targeting, I think social has become a great way to target. There are platforms on the social side, certainly TikTok and even Instagram, very young and Gen Z-ish. And so you see a lot of millennials and a lot of usage there. But as you looked at LinkedIn, it's a very targeted audience from a B2B standpoint. So it's a way to target in a way that you may not be able to do otherwise. So I think those are important trends for social. Social is fast growing. And Instagram is fast growing, but Facebook is not. And so you see things that are happening there. Video is huge. And from a marketing standpoint, we can share the stats on this, but video has become an extremely powerful play. And consumers want to be engaged, and they don't want to be sold to. They want to be entertained. And so video has become effective, and YouTube as well. And so I think all of those things will be really important to watch. And I'd love to just share the number one TikTok person the influencer that's making more money than anybody else. Number one is Charlie D'Amelio. And she and her sister each are making over $10 million for being dancers on video that started in 2019. And now they're doing Super Bowl commercials and opening up for the Jonas Brothers on tour. And it's incredible. And so I know we're in Canada, and we've got the Canadians that are the fourth largest money makers on influence, as influencers on TikTok. So it's rapidly growing, and the numbers are impressive. And so as marketers, we have to look at all of those channels and figure out what's best from a targeting standpoint.
No, that's absolutely a great point. And often we just think about putting paid ads and putting copy and, quite frankly, just stock standard images on social media. So I don't think a lot of companies have really embraced influencer marketing. So is that something you'd encourage agencies, marketers to look at more carefully for their advertising strategy?
I do. I think that anytime that we can have, it's like you're catching people when they aren't looking for ads. So it's a way to target at a much higher level. Some influencers it's going to cost a lot to be able to have them promote you. But it's also if they're targeting the right consumer for you, and a lot of them, if their followers are there and that's who you need to be reaching, absolutely put together a strategy around it. And again, I think that any type of personal endorsement is how it comes about, is going to give you credibility with the right person endorsing it. So absolutely, you can too look at many examples of how that's paid off, and some really creative uses of that from large companies. So it'd be fun to see other people try it.
Might be too soon to quit my job and become an influencer, but let's talk about privacy regulations. So huge concern among consumers, and platforms, of course, have their are becoming mindful of that too. What would you say are the key things that agencies and marketers need to know from a privacy and regulatory perspective, just to make sure that they're staying, within their lane?
Yeah, I think first off, just protecting personally identifiable information is extremely important. As marketers, we should not risk that. And so our approach as a company has been, because we're global, and even in the States, each state has their own rules and regulations around it. And so as annoying as some of the regulations are, we have to be considerate to what it means to the consumer. And so I would suggest going on the personal or on the conservative front when you're looking at that, and making sure that when as marketers, we don't take advantage of that. And I'll give you an example. So this is very broad, but so channel partners are a Matchcraft client. And so they have lots of local businesses, and some of those could be in the healthcare area of dentists and doctors. And so those healthcare providers have information that if somebody's going to call and leave a message, we capture that lead for them. But when it comes to anybody in the healthcare industry, the platform knows that information should not be in a message that anybody could hear, or in a transcription of that call with personally identifiable information. And so we actually will delete, or we actually put a void and a block up. So anything that's in the healthcare, the call tracking doesn't even work. It doesn't even turn on, doesn't give the person an option for that. All the dentist knows is a phone number called them, and that's it. There's no message. And it's just important to protect the PII and make sure that, again, overboard on conservative, and acknowledge that there's a reason those regulations exist. It's because they were abused. And so try not to be in that camp, but be in the camp of protecting that.
Okay, great points. So another concern, especially from a marketer's perspective, is how do I navigate the digital advertising landscape when so many consumers have ad blockers, ad fatigue? And we talked about influencer marketing, but of course, there's budgets. Not everyone can afford the top the top TikTok influencer and whatnot. What are other creative ways that marketers can use to get their message across, especially if you're like a boutique local business, you've just opened up your shop?
Yeah. Well, I think engagement is really important. Creativity is important. The other thing that's really catching on, especially for a local business, which is our passion, is helping local businesses. We believe that it's the backbone of the global economy, is to make sure that they capture that spirit of shop local. It's really, COVID actually enhanced that. And so people want to shop local, and especially younger people are really passionate about shopping local with a cause. So if you're a local business and you're giving back to the community in any way based on proceeds or a special promotion you're doing and a special night, and you're aligning with a charity of your choice, those are types of things that consumers, especially young consumers, our millennials and Gen Zs, are really prone to support and get back behind. And so just using video is another way of just being as engaging as possible, a call to action that's easy, that's simple and exciting. They want to be entertained while they shop and look for your goods and services. So this would just be a couple things, is promote that you're locally owned, promote that you're a local business, and look for ways to give back to the community, make a cause, and have your consumers embrace that.
Okay. Support local, make it fun, tug the heartstrings with a giveaway. giveaway message. Okay.
You just brought something up, Vish.
Sure.
Back in the day, so it was always pets and babies. So don't forget your pets and babies when you're promoting. Those are always good ways.
Just throw a dog in the video. It's just going to, right?
It sells. It sells.
Okay. And I think I just want to come back to AI here. So as AI and machine learning continue to advance, what specific ways do you envision that these technologies are going to be used, both in digital advertising and the work that we as marketers and agency owners do in executing digital ad campaigns?
I think they're going to take a lot of the guesswork out of it. And so if you follow enough consumers, targeting enough businesses, pretty soon you get pretty smart at it because you're following that. And then it's figuring out what messaging works best in front of all of that. So I think that search is not going to go away. What I do think will happen is we're going to see less of keywords and ad copy, and that will all be created based on the generative AI that we see and all the data points that we have. Even today, I'll give you an example. If we're sitting in Saskatoon, which is great in the summer. So if I'm looking at our carpet, so if we were looking for a carpet cleaner, so that's one thing that we could do is look at a carpet cleaner, but there's probably not a lot of them in Saskatoon. And yet, if you're using a platform that has followed carpet cleaners and they know what carpet cleaners our size that specialize in office and commercial carpet cleaning, and we can take that information from around the globe, hone that in, years and years of getting that generative information and figuring out what the messaging is without even having the local business in Saskatoon have to do the guesswork of what's needed in order for their ads to be effective and to be able to sell in social and in search, and take the guesswork out of how their money should be split and being able to do that. And that's something Google can't do because they aren't going to sell Facebook or Instagram, and Instagram and Facebook can't do. But platforms that are doing multi-channel, back to multi-channel and tying in AI, and it brings us back to the beginning, but that's what I would say is a good example of how it's going to change, is taking the consumer isn't going to even have to ask for things like, I'm looking for a carpet cleaner. They can be talking conversational and being able to put in, you can do it today, and being able to put in the parameters of what kind of hours, what kind of guarantee or insurance that they want, or anything like that would come with it.
My phone's probably listening to this, and I'm sure I'm going to be served with carpet cleaning ads now that you mentioned it.
You're right. Very good at targeting. You're right.
Sandy, any last remarks or comments you want to make on digital advertising?
I think it's just a great time. It's super exciting. I can't think of a time, certainly since I've been involved in the industry, which was before the internet was invented. So has been so change oriented and moving so fast. So it's a great time for a career. It's a great time as marketers to being able to help local businesses. And I couldn't be happier about the space and what we're contributing from Vendasta and Matchcraft to help that and hopefully to lead the way. So it's exciting. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you so much for your time, Sandy.
Thank you.
AI, automation, multi-channel, influencer marketing, making sure your ads support local and tug consumers' heartstrings, while also making sure you're protecting their data. Those are the key messages from Sandy. I hope you enjoyed that interview. Have a great day.